Hello everyone and welcome to Whisky Wars, and for today's episode of the Neck Pour we've got a whiskey that I've had my eyes on ever since it came out, which wasn't actually too long ago, and I'm so happy that I could pick up a bottle of this. So as many of you guys know, one of my favourite whiskies of all time, especially for value for money, is going to be the Ledaig 10. I always say Ledaig and it's not the correct way to pronounce it. Ledaig, I believe, is the proper way, so it's going to take some time for me to get used to that. But I love that whiskey, bottled at 46.3% ABV, it's just fantastic. And then I heard of a limited edition coming out that was the Ledaig 10 at cask strength. So this is purely ex-bourbon cask, natural colour, non-chill filtered, straight from the barrel at cask strength by Tobermory. And also the other thing that just sealed the deal for me was I am an absolute sucker for packaging. I always keep the boxes. I want to do eventually a big wall with all the boxes on, and I think this is possibly the nicest box that I have on a whiskey. I just think it's absolutely incredible. If you can see that properly there, I know many people don't care about the box, they open the whiskey, throw the box away, but I'm just one of those, you could say, losers that just loves the packaging of certain whiskies, and this is definitely one that I just like to visually look at. The price though, I think I could potentially have an issue with, but more on that later. Let's see how it tastes first of all. I'm pretty sure I'm going to like it because I love the 10-year-old. But I'd love to know in the comments down below, guys, have any of you seen this whiskey, tried this whiskey, or even knew that it was out? Because I bet some of you don't. It kind of didn't get a huge fanfare when it came out. I think it's only been out for about a month so far, so it is quite new. But anyway, let's get it open. Let's see what it looks like. Can't wait. I picked this up yesterday. Didn't have time to film a review last night when I got back. So, as always, it's early in the morning. Can't resist. Got to open it up. Hebridean Moon. Aged 10 years, bourbon cask matured, cask strength. I should say as well, it's bottled at 58.8% ABV. Okay, let's go. An explosive cork pop. And very potent on the nose. The bottle's here, and I just got a blast. Okay, that doesn't smell like the standard 10 just proofed up. Let's see. Let's see what this one's like. Yeah, that's strong. That is a strong whiskey, guys. So for all the peat lovers out there who want it at full cask strength, this is just going to go down a treat for all of you. So firstly, a surprise for me is, and by the way guys, I am going to do that whiskey war between the 10 against the 10 cask strength because I do think there's differences already. The earthy peat is going to be the first thing that hits me. Lots of earthy, soily peat. I love that. But also quite a wood char influence on the whiskey, very strong in that, like barbecued chips, wood chips that you put on the barbecue, and actually quite peppery. There's also a sweetness in here. So this whiskey for me is not fruity at all, but there is a sweetness. There's also some citrus, but that sweetness, what is that? I actually think a lot of Talisker fans are going to like this because I get a lot of salt and pepper, but I also get a lot of wood and also peat. But whereas Talisker's a sweet peat, this is an earthy peat. More my thing. But I can't help but draw a comparison there. That is a little bit prickly on the nose. It's quite like a barbecue sweetness, like a barbecue sauce. Maybe like a touch of the pineapple rings. A touch. I should really leave this a long time to open up, But as you guys know, it's the neck pour, it's first impressions. I'm just going to dive straight into the taste. I will be doing a full whiskey review for this whiskey in the next couple of months as it opens up and I drink more of the whiskey. Since it's cask strength, there should be quite a change. Let's get straight onto the taste. Just before we do though, guys, if you'd be so kind as to click the like button and that subscribe button, that'd be much appreciated. Thank you. We're having a really good month this year for subscribers. So please, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider clicking that subscribe button. It really does help the channel out, so thank you. Okay, that is a kick in the nuts whiskey, guys. I know a lot of people want that sort of whiskey. I now have a firm recommendation for someone who wants that style of whiskey. I've had many cask strengths that are nowhere near this potency, at a higher proof as well. It's a bit of a bully, actually. Let me just go back in again, but that was oaky, that was spicy, that was pungent, that was potent, that was abrasive, that was earthy peat, that was charred wood, barbecued meats, but also some tobacco. Sometimes you say silly things on a review. You have to catch yourself. I'm glad I did on that one. But then also like a little bit of citrus behind all that, but really the potency of those other strong notes hide that citrus. So something straight away that I just love in this whiskey, absolutely love, is the oiliness. This is densely oily. Love that. You guys know I love my oily whiskies. The finish on this whiskey, guys, my mouth is still coated. Like, the oil is still in my mouth. I'm still tasting the whiskey. This is potency in a bottle. This is kick in the nuts in a bottle. This is not for the faint-hearted, this bottle. Let me just get that straight out to you. So I know a lot of people are going to instantly be very much dialed in on this review so far. For my taste, I'm not the biggest wood char guy. Love earthy peat, but wood char is not my huge thing, and I don't like wood spice in whiskey. This definitely has those notes, so some things that I just adore, and then some things that I'm not the biggest fan of combined together. Still, overall, really exciting so far. I do get some tobacco on the taste of this whiskey, quite a lot actually, and it seems like a very strange thing to say, but the tobacco is not at the forefront of the whiskey. That's how strong the other notes are. The fact that a tobacco is like an underlying factor of the whiskey, that you get more on the finish than initially on the taste. And tobacco is strong. So it's oily, it's peppery, it's woody, it's spicy, there's a sweetness there, but it's not fruity sweet for me. There is some citrus, and there's actually quite a long tobacco finish. And I wouldn't call it a pipe tobacco because it's not sweet. It is just like an earthy tobacco with that earthy peat. The finish is possibly one of my favourite finishes of all time. Like, I'm really enjoying that finish. Okay, now with that third sip, I'm going to introduce a touch of bitterness to the whiskey. That sweetness has actually subsided, so the bitterness of the wood, I think, it is where it comes from. It introduces bitterness to it. So, I mean, a really out there dram. I'm really not trying to oversell this whiskey because actually I've been a little bit surprised. There are some notes in this whiskey that aren't my favoured notes in whiskey. So even though this is very impressive and I think is going to be some people's favourite whiskey, I just do, I can see that. It's not mine so far. Based on the neck pour, this is not my favoured whiskey. I really want to shoot that Ledaig 10 Whisky War against this one now, because there's a chance I could prefer the standard 10. And so guys, if you really want to check that video out, because I will film it soon, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss that review when it comes out. And remember the key difference here. This whiskey is priced at £85 and it's limited edition, so it's not going to be around forever. Whereas the 10-year-old is 46%, so 12.5% less in proof in ABV, but it's £40 and on sale low 30s in the UK, so less than half the price for 12% less in an ABV. So that, I think that is going to be a really, really exciting review, and one that I recommend you don't miss. So that's going to conclude my neck pour for the Hebridean Moon, the Ledaig 10 at cask strength, ex-bourbon cask, 58.8% ABV. Do let me know in the comments down below, guys, have you had this whiskey? How nice is the packaging? And what are your thoughts on the whiskey? Have you done your own whiskey war between the 10 and this 10 cask strength? I'd love to know your thoughts before I review my own. And as always, guys, please share the video, let other people know about the video. It really does help the channel out, and make sure to click that subscribe button as well. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you all for the next Whisky War.